Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Anila Rao, and I'm going to be the moderator of this session, driving quality conversations throughout the customer journey. To start out with, let's have a round of introduction. So I'll ask each panelist to tell a little bit about themselves, their company, and then we can start with the discussion overall. Sachin, you want to start?
Yeah. Hello everyone. I'm Sachin Songaonkar. I'm working in Jockey, India as a general manager IT and looking
So
forward.
Jockey doesn't need any introduction.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let's have Venkatesh.
Hi everyone, my name is Venkatesh. I am in charge of digital transformation at TTK Prestige, India's largest cookware and kitchenware manufacturer.
Hi everyone, this is Chakradhar. I head the digital product at Urban Ladder, currently Reliance branch. Uh, we are into furniture, interiors, and institutional business for setting up their office spaces. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Anil Menon, CIO for LuLu Group India. We work on retail, real estate, e-commerce, hospitality, logistics, and flight kitchen to start with.
Just to start out with, so no problem. Hi everyone, my name is Anila Rao. I'm the VP of APAC business for Haptik. Haptik is a leader in conversational AI, conversational commerce, and that's what we're going to talk about today, right? And just to keep it a little bit easier, conversational commerce is all about using chat as a channel of interaction between brands and its users for customer acquisition, support, conversion, right? So the core aspect is that chat is being utilized. Now, everyone keeps speaking about this whole behavioral change to chat. Everybody's chatting all of the time. I think all of us, panelists were chatting on WhatsApp, we're engaging. I don't even think anyone even picked up the phone and called each other, right? So that whole behavior change has seeped in and brands really need to adapt to it, right? So maybe I'll start out with Venkatesh just to see, you know, this concept of chat to interact with your users, how much does the, TTK group believe in it that absolutely we need to enter this medium of communication. We can't just stick to calls. We can't just stick to emails. How important is chat for you and the organization?
So right now we use chat mostly for information broadcasting. So if a customer wants to find a store, find a service center, contact us that way, lodge a complaint, they can use WhatsApp. Um, we have tried using chat as a channel for sales. I think that was pre-pandemic, and a lot of things have changed since then. So that didn't quite work out. I think at the time it was in a very nascent phase. The interface wasn't really designed for that. So I think it'd be interesting for us to see now how WhatsApp and how other services that are built on WhatsApp can really affect that. But we are definitely interested in looking at WhatsApp and other conversational communication channels, plugging into our sales backend order management system.
Right. So even chat and buy has become such a popular word. I think especially if you see many Southeast Asian countries, they've gone all ahead with chat and buy. So they've gone into this whole sort of different behavior overall. And like you said, COVID really propelled that whole behavior. So my next question is actually to Sachin, right? Being part of Jockey, um, he spoke about how people became very hygiene conscious. They started thinking about, hey, maybe we need more innerwear, more underwear. It has to happen, right? So for Jockey as such, what was that effect of COVID on this behavior of chat and purchase, on digitization overall?
Yeah. First of all, yes, I would agree on the COVID front. That's where we saw a lot of spike in our sales revenue. It's just because, as you clearly said, it's because of the hygiene issue, and a lot of people were health conscious, they wanted to be healthy and take proper precautions. So that's where, the entire game started for us, to look at, relook at our strategy of reaching out to people, make them aware of the health and consciousness about the product and how does, it would contribute to their health and day-to-day hygiene. And that's where I think a lot of campaigns started, and even on to looking at the WhatsApp or anything chat related, messaging per se. All these things we started eventually, although we are not great at that extent, but we have started, and it is giving good traction as such, I would say. And slowly we are moving ahead into digital transformation, wherein what all mediums are there when we talk about conversational commerce, right? We talk about chatbots, AI, ML, different messaging apps, and how do we have an aggregated platform in order to serve better to the end consumers. That's where we're looking at. So definitely, as chat and all these facilities would really help. We are working on it. Yeah.
Right. And I think, when I think about LuLu, I think about your massive hypermarkets. And I think about the topic we're talking about, right? Driving quality conversations throughout the customer journey. Which part of the customer journey do you think you are able to influence in such a massive scale operation overall?
See, while you say it is massive and you need to categorize it, it largely drives the category, right? And which category are you trying to engage on from this conversation? If it is just, do you have X number of pulses, X, Y, Z, that's pretty much their conversation, right? That's one part of inflation, that is start of inquiry to start with. Then you have the fashion industry, right? Do you have this color? Do you have this pattern? Do you have this flow and all of that? That's the secondary part of it. You're already made up your mind what you want. Now you're asking for nitty-gritties of it. That's a different part of it. While you are doing we run also some coffee shops and other stuff. That's where when you go on to say that, my personalization also drives these conversations, saying that I need 2 shots of coffee, less of sugar and caramel and so on and so forth. So that's the mid part of it. So the whole start, the in between the conversation, the body, and then the last delivery. How do you want it to be delivered, right? Say, for example, you're trying to deliver a refrigerator or a television, which we also sell across. Or you want to do it on this particular time, this is how it should be delivered, it should be gift wrapped, it should not be gift wrapped, that comes at the last end of it. So depending on the sectors or depending on at what product are you looking at, this conversation has its own meaning and its own drive towards that.
Right. No, makes sense. And I know for Chakradhar over here, he's actually picked up conversational commerce as a solution to a problem that he was facing, right? So keen to know from you, what was the challenges, what were you trying to solve, and how was conversational commerce that solution for you?
Just to make you all understand that when we go through a purchase journey of buying furniture online, or when we go through a journey of purchasing furniture offline, so we don't just go and see and pick it out. We just go and we see that is it fitting into my space, is it fitting into my color of interiors that I have done, or is it customized according to my needs, or is it a sofa, or is it dining table, whatsoever it is. So it's not that you pick it immediately after you just go and see it. That's one side on offline space. On a online space, the number of visits customer has after a product is picked, he's visiting our page over the next 3-4 weeks before he converts into a purchase. So that means he's looking for support where he wants to understand more about the product, or he's researching more about the product and how is it fitting in. So that's when we realize that he needs some hand-holding on understanding better about the product, or as you all know that it's furniture made of different woods, different materials, different sizes, different heights, or how is the platform, how is the seating length, or how was the durability? There are a lot of other questions which they want them to be answered. And all this can't be done immediately on a PDB page information where they can read through. But they need a proper hand-holding before they move into a conversion or before they pick the product into their house. On the other side, that's one gray area where we were trying to solve with conversational commerce, where whenever there is a product added to the cart and they're taking time, we ask the teams to go and speak to the customer and solve the queries. That's what we are doing for the pre-purchase journey. For the post-purchase journey, there's something called installation. There's something called, it's not so habituated in India where they can do their fit it on their own or do-it-yourself mode, where they need some hand-holding on fitting the furniture. In the right place, did we deliver it right to them, or is it exactly fitting into the space that they have at their home, or is the height exactly up to their expectations? So there's certain kind of questions to and fro which happens with the company when there is a pre-installation phase, post-installation phase. So this is the only channel we thought where customers can reach out to the company directly and get their queries solved, even if whether it's pre-purchase or post-purchase, whichever journey they are lying on. So that's how we are trying to solve a piece of problem on commerce for us through conversations.
Yeah, so in a way, when there are a lot of interaction points, for that decision-making process itself, like you said, whether pre-purchase or post-purchase, that's where it's essential, right? That's where the conversations come in. But as compared to maybe purchasing point solutions, groceries, I don't think there's much of a conversation to have there. That 1 liter of ghee, you might, you'll just pick it up and you'll go ahead. There's nothing to interact as such, right? So definitely, what is the category that you're talking about? That's where the interactions make a big difference. So, because when I was speaking to Venkatesh earlier, he was speaking about this buying guidance when purchasing a mixie. You think, okay, like mixie, fine, I'll just pick it up. So Venkatesh, tell us, when someone buys a mixie, what is the experience when they're making that purchase, and how are you trying to sort of recreate that exact experience, that exact buying journey in that conversational format?
So I think this is where the user journey, the design of the user journey is specifically important. So a bad user journey, taking mixies as an example, would be to ask a customer, do you want an 800 watt, a 1000 watt, or a 1200 watt mixie? And this is an utterly meaningless question, but that's how most of our sales guys would say it, because that's how they know about mixies, so they would say that. What they need to be asking is, firstly, how many people are there in your kitchen? Are you going to be making chutneys? Do you make rotis a lot at home? What is it that you want? Based on answering 3 or 4 questions and say, look, these are the ideal mixies for you, 1, 2, 3, 4, pick one. So I think it's a mixture of customer education and customer then guiding them to say what is the best way to guide them to make that decision. And so it's not just, you could say, great, there's conversational, but that's not enough. There's a lot of work that has to go in from a design perspective, from understanding, or even from furniture. I have no idea what questions. If I want to buy a sofa, I'd say, yeah, I want something I can take a nap in, right? Is that truly something that a conversational app can handle? I think that's an open question, how to bridge that gap.
Yeah, and a lot of people are bringing up this whole concept of solution selling, experience-based selling, because nobody's going to come in and ask for point products, right? Then there's nothing that you're actually helping out with. When like he said, I want it for a certain requirement, I want it for a certain functionality, right? And that example that I used in my speech earlier was, there's a container company, and their job is actually to help you organize your bedroom, your kitchen. So an individual is not coming in and saying, hey, I'm looking for a plastic box that's of this centimeter to that centimeter. They're actually coming in and saying, help me organize my cupboard, right? So you have to make it, solution-based selling, experience-based selling, right? Now the main question comes in is, a lot of brands are very like offline heavy, right? Does it mean that unless there is an e-commerce aspect to it, can conversational commerce be extended? So Anil, the question to you is that digital aspect of it absolutely essential for conversational commerce? And if say a brand is fully offline, is there no way to tap into this capability overall?
Uh, the answer is no. There is no. Uh, I will not say that there's an offline cannot get into this. They have to for sure have this digital aspect being there, and that's where in previous say 5 years, 6 years back, if you are spoken to us, this would look like something else. But today there's nothing called as an offline online. It's more like a seamless journey for a customer to bring in. It's more like Venkatesh was saying that what's your customer journey? What's your proposition you want to put in? What's the seamlessness you want to get? What experience do you want to get into the store? For sure, if you walk into any of the offline stores, they need to have this in place. One, because you may not have your sales representative always walking around you. You may have some queries which you want to answer by yourself, or someone just answering one-to-one at that point, or not a human being standing there. Say, for example, I very well is just giving a point. It's used for upselling also. It's used for upselling. So, as our panelist was talking about, if I'm asking for a pulses, am I asking also, do you want a recipe to this? That's a conversational thing. So you want a recipe, oh, you know, I'm trying to make this. For example, I come from South. So you're getting at pulses, you say, oh, you want to make a sambar, oh, you know what, sambar, you need all this stuff. Why don't I give you this? That's a conversational thing. The conversation never has to be, okay, I asked for this, A, B, C, D. And as you're saying, the container company said that I will organize for you. There are more to it. But it's how you envisage your customer journey at an offline store, on an online store, or whatever, whichever touch points you're talking about. What's the customer journey? That's the key to drive this conversational comments, if I have to
So
say.
it's almost getting like fully merged, right? So it could be that somebody comes to your hypermarket, makes a purchase, but in that process where they're like, hey Anila, here's your receipt, you know, next time you can purchase right here on WhatsApp, or you can, you know, get updates on the latest offers, latest recommendations. So you see how it's getting merged offline into this digital space and back into going directly to the shop and making up the purchase, right? So yes, to a certain extent, like you said, you do need that entire ecosystem of your e-commerce system, all those logistics and everything, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a conversational layer on top of everything that already exists, right? So that's something that's definitely necessary. Now, you know, WhatsApp itself as a channel, there are 575 million people in India actively using WhatsApp, right? And when we speak about chat as a channel, it's almost synonymous with WhatsApp. So, you know, question to Sachin here is, with Jockey as a brand, you know, what are the different ways you think you can use WhatsApp as a channel of interaction across the customer journey?
Okay. So as I said earlier, we haven't been into much of it, but the journey has just started. I would say WhatsApp is definitely one mean, you know, to start with. And I would say when we talk about the conversational commerce, I think there any chat messaging app, whether it is WhatsApp or any other, you know, it plays a vital role. Now, when we talk about what can be done with WhatsApp, right? So I saw a lot of applications. You know, a lot of people are doing their brand campaigning on WhatsApp. They are, you know, we can upload our catalogs. We can give hyperlinks for the to reroute to the audience to our website. We can bring, you know, the more traffic to our sales funnel, or whatever platform we want to bring them in. And definitely all these, you know, when we talk about the customer journey, right from awareness to the advocacy, there I think WhatsApp can play a vital role, and that's where we would need someone who can help us, you know, in the terms of helping us to see, you know, how best we can do. You know, let's say there are some personalized messaging possible. There is some tracking possible about what all customers have received it, what is their interest level, what is the conversion ratio out of it. So a lot of things can be done easily, right? Yeah.
Right. And I also think that, when we're talking about conversations and this whole layer that's on top of your existing systems, there is all of this information, from your CRM, from your ticketing system, all of that is creating that personalized experience, right? And I think, Chakradhar, for you, in terms of, urban ladder, there is a lot of personalization that we're speaking about over here to create that quality experience, right? What would be some personalization examples of using all of this existing data about a customer to give them a quality experience?
So just to add on quality experience with personalization, uh, the conversation is something that ends at one point and picks it from there. So that's what you call a conversation on. So for us to personalize, it's very important to understand which part of the customer journey he is at, or what has he gone through, whether he's in awareness phase or whether he's in decision making phase, or whether he's in post-purchase phase, where is he exactly on, and what part of the journey are we helping him to pass through or cross the barrier in order to make the conversion. So it's very important for us on one side. And second side is understanding the customer is very important for us, because not every customer comes with an understanding on, if you take our category on, there are multiple types of woods, multiple types of chairs. We just can't say a chair and you pick it from there. So we should understand whether he understands whether it's a sesame wood or whether it's rosewood or whatsoever wood it is. How exactly is he looking at, or whether he is aware of it or not. What kind of help that I have to provide him in order to make it on one side. And second side is the kind of interpretation he takes on. When we do a direct messaging to him, how is he interpreting it? Whether he takes it straight or whether he takes it wrong. It's not that you have a system-driven messaging system which says, you need this, I'm giving you this. You ask for this question, I'm answering it this. So that doesn't work anymore with the customers, because when we are talking about conversations, they expect an answer which is understanding him, or which the chatbot or the person who is replying to his questions is completely knowing what he is going through, or he's empathizing his pain, or that's when the conversation will convert into a conversion for us, or will end up elevating our customer experience. But unpersonalized messaging or AI-based messaging or chatbot-based blind rule-based messaging doesn't help us. It's not helping us out at any point where it's only helping us to close the transaction there, but it's not elevating our experience. To elevate that experience, I think personalization is the only way to take the conversation to the next level, or to make sure that customer is sticking to us in the long run.
Right. And see, when we talk about conversational commerce, right, a human sitting at the other end and interacting and leading to a sale technically is also conversational commerce. But the advantage of having technology do it, having technology access all of this information, all of this personalization, now that's the game changer, right? And also the fact that, at any point in time, technology is instantly available to make these recommendations, to respond to these queries. Now that's the true differentiator, right? And to do it at such a scale, I don't think Anil is going to have 10,000 people sitting on the other end chatting and responding. It's a scale that no one can possibly fathom, right? So while we're talking about quality, we keep using the word quality conversations, I think there are a whole range of underlying business metrics that we're trying to impact, right? So Venkatesh, question to you is, across this customer journey, what are these core KPIs, these core business metrics that you think will change, can be moved through conversational commerce?
Sales conversion. It's just that if your conversational thing is not leading to a sale, then it's not worth it. I think everyone here is here for making money. Obviously, that's why you're in business. As to how to improve that conversion rate, there's things like how engaged are they, how many people are saying, where are they dropping off, all those things is where you come in. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to one number: how many people entered and how many people bought and what was the ticket size. And anything beyond that is just to increase the ticket size and to increase the number of sales. That's
Yes, it's only going to be like the dollars against that number.
we're a very, very, very traditional company. That's all we think about. Rupees.
Rupees, absolutely, right? And so when you're talking about this revenue generation, how much of it is focused on pure net new, or are you also considering, hey, I have all of these existing customers, right? Are you thinking maybe you can start there, engage them, make them repurchase, upsell, cross-sell? Are you thinking from that angle? Because that's a massive chunk as well, right? It's not only about completely net new customers that you're trying to acquire.
So I'm not sure how many new customers we get. It's a very difficult number to get. I think there is the idea of you have to have the entire backend ready of your customer data lake, their previous buys, all of that information. If you have that available, then you can start talking about things like what is the lifetime value of a customer. If you've got them as a customer, well, how many of them are coming back to buy a new product? These are things that's where your loyalty, etc. All of these come in. But at the end of the day, a customer, you have a customer, that customer has a total lifetime value of so many rupees. That's your target. That's what you want to get. That's the only thing that matters.
Got it. It's almost like there's too much homework to even push forward to the other side of the capability, right? No, makes sense. And I think, we have been talking about data. We've been talking about you need to have like an e-commerce system, talking about how we need to do sort of personalization, right? So my question, back to Anil is, assume we have your entire e-commerce system set up, right? Do you feel at some point you still would prefer them to come offline, come to your massive stores and make purchases? Or are you thinking, Anila, as long as they're buying, let them just use WhatsApp, let them just use chat as a channel. I'm perfectly fine them not even entering near my store. Do you think one leads to another, or you have some preference, anything of that sort?
The answer is again no, to start with. I want the customer to just not have the shopping shop, the buy by the dollar sign. I need to have an experience because I'm not selling something out of the blue.
Yeah.
It's the same old dal, chawal and all of that stuff, right? What am I trying to give? I'm trying to give them an experience, right? I can generate an experience on the e-commerce field. I have a different experience when you come offline stores and other touch points. So I would obviously want them to come to this particular touch points, the massive stores which I have. Please come experience. It leads to the dollar sign again, the final point, but it will have a different feel to it. Yeah, there's a different aura to it to be reaching there, right? You may find them buying more on e-commerce. They may just come and experience here, and they may come and buy it from because they have tasted it here and so on. I have live kitchens which is there in my hyper stores, right? They may come and buy it from here. So for me, there's nothing called as only buy here, buy it at all my points because I can reach the dollar sign. Just to take one leaf, just to add to what I'm talking about. All of this which I'm talking about makes sense if your data is clean. Right? Today, the major challenges with most of us is cleanliness of the data because we run legacy systems, we run mid-tier thing and the new age. We are trying to get the new age, taking the legacy system. So for me, while Venki was talking about the conversational and how it should be and how much it should produce, it all depends on what are the inputs, right? Transaction is one of the inputs. But if you have half knowledge of Anil, I don't think that you're going to make any personalization to me, or you're not going to tell me, Anil, what last time you bought this, how was it, and so on and so forth. And then bring that added advantage, that nudge which you give there to make him take to the next level. Unless until you do that, let's get to the ground reality that get the data right, the inputs to the precise as much as possible. It can't be ever, because the management says that it should be clean and all of that. Why can't you get it? But that's not the truth. The truth is that, and the practical knowledge is that it is going to be bad. So how much of the expectations and how much of variance can you keep on this conversational commerce is where we should stand.
I think that's the ideal state, that everyone has perfect data, we have amazing recommendations, and then we're able to do much better conversions down the funnel, right? But I also liked your point saying, let's create like a quality experience. I don't care if it's online, it's offline, makes no difference, right? And so many brands, like it's so amazing where it is an e-commerce shop, they're like, here, go to our physical outlet, experience it, and then make the purchase online. You would see so many experience stores, nowadays, whether it's with like Samsung or it's like with Pepper Fry, there is literally no purchase that's happening at the store. So everyone is very clear saying, create that quality experience and all the functionalities will sort of power through. So just, a last question, for all of the panelists. Assume there are multiple people who are looking to begin their journey into conversational commerce. Like, what advice would you give them in terms of being prepared, thinking through anything they should watch out for? How should they ensure, the success of this capability overall? So we can just go one by one as the final question that we have. Anil, you want to start?
Sure. I'll just have two takes on that, right? One, involve your organization into it. It is not one person's job to do it, right? Involve that complete core group, if you have to call it so-called. And be clear on your customer journey. What element of your customer journey are you trying to solve using this chat or conversational chat? That's the two key points which I think you should start somewhere.
No, I think you should definitely involve the full organization. Otherwise, Venki will run a project, and that's about it, right? But
that's the reality. That's the reality. It just becomes an IT project or a marketing project.
Yeah, and also the fact that you are replicating. I think the AC's come on. You are replicating your entire business onto this chat channel. So you are creating a version of it, right? So your entire company has to be involved. It is not an IT project. It's not some standalone innovation project, right? It's a massive replication of your business on another medium. So absolutely involve like core members of your organization. Chakradhar, any advice from your end?
So, do we have to hold till that?
How do we switch off this big fan?
Can anyone else hear the fan?
You'll have to talk through it.
Yeah. So just to say that the conversation is a part of the customer journey where when we say every product has a purchase journey where a customer has to go through when he's picking up a product, whether it's a furniture or whether it's a mixie or whether he's making a grocery purchase. So he has a fixed mindset of purchase journey that he has to go through, and the companies has to create a customer journey which will match exactly to his expectations. So one thing that I have recently come up is something called switching cost. So a conversation will help you increase the switching cost for the brand, which will help the customer to adopt to the brand quickly, or which will help you to, instead of customer going through everything at one go, he will come out of that through a conversation instead of reading a lot of policies or doing multiple transactions, calling multiple times customer care, or placing an order, facing troubles with returns. Instead of all that, one conversation will help him to understand the whole journey or understand the whole experience, what the company is trying to give it to you in one conversation. And from there, once you get stuck to it, or once you, it's the same way before Venki was helping us out with a restaurant where you're very happy with one restaurant, you will keep going to that other restaurant. You don't even think of another restaurant going to, or you don't even look at other options. So same way when the brands create an environment where you're stuck to it or you're happy with it, you don't look out for the second option, you don't look out for third option. So through conversations, it's quite easy for us to create that ecosystem on one side. And second side is once you create that ecosystem and the customer is hooking to it, the switching cost of the customer moving out of that brand into other brand, he finds it very high. When he finds it very high, he's stuck to your brand, whether whether you're charging him a premium, whether you're charging him exactly what he was expecting, or you're giving discounts, you're not giving discounts, he'll go and stick to your experience because he knows what happens at every stage. I don't have to learn it for the first time with the brand. So I would say any company starting out with conversational platforms or starting out with that, the journey should help the customer stick to it and make him adopt to that brand's consumer behavior or customer experience, what they're trying to provide, get stuck to themselves very fast, and that's how they should create the ecosystem.
Yeah, so in a way, it's that the chat interaction, that conversation is elevating the experience. I mean, that is what is leading to that stickiness. And if that's not what the end outcome is, then definitely you're doing something wrong, right? Venkatesh, your advice?
I think at the end of the day, whatever chat module that you have is exactly that. It's a module that is going to sit on top of the rest of your tech stack. And if the rest of your tech stack is not there, your chat module is not going to work. You need to have an order management system. You need to have your customer data. It needs to be clean. If you have legacy data, it has to interconnect with that. All that stuff is there. So that's one very important part of it, because this just sits on top of that. Especially now with this whole, I don't know if this headless, commerce or whatever it's called, right? Right, headless, your customer interaction layer sits on top. You have to have your basic, all of that stuff done. Then you have to decide, what is it that you're doing? Are you trying to push sales? Are you trying to drive people to your store? Are you just trying to make a sale? What is it that you want? Are you educating people? Then from there, spend a lot of time and effort on designing the customer journey. If you don't design, you can get a Ferrari system, the Ferrari of systems, and if you have a really bad person designing the customer journey, you're just going to set yourself up for failure. So tech stack, full integration, proper design, that's the only way to do it.
Yeah, because the AI chatbot journey for LuLu, for Urban Ladder, for TTK Prestige and Jockey will be so different from each other, right? Because it's that custom experience required for their users to get the best quality experience, right? So it has to be extremely unique, and I think that's where all the knowledge, all the effort, there's something called conversation design. It's almost like an art as to how you need to place the text, how you need to converse. Don't put too much information, keep it light, don't ask too many questions, keep giving information and creating value, right? So there's like an art of conversational design overall. Sachin, last words for this audience?
Yes, definitely. So I think, till now we were talking about, all the organizations are talking about customer support. Once the product is sold, they are talking about the customer service to the customer and all. But it's not, now the era is different, when we talk about e-commerce and, conversational commerce, I think we are talking about a new concept which we called as a customer experience. Now, customer experience is a bigger umbrella where, customer support can be a subset of it. Now, how do we bring this customer experience, better? And to have it, we need to look out for options like, omni-channel platforms or the conversational commerce, wherein from awareness stage to the advocacy stage of the customer journey, we should engage them with different sort of technologies, whether WhatsApp, AI, ML, chatbots, or any other platform, whichever is feasible, to keep them engaged throughout the journey, and then make use of this opportunity to get the data, to understand their feelings, insights, all customer data, where we could use it further for the retention of a customer, for the repeat buying behavior. So all this is very important, when we talk about a customer, engaging the customer, it is talking about giving more revenue to us. So definitely this conversational commerce would help everyone to gain more business. I think in some of the news article I read, if you start engaging through the conversational commerce, within the 6 months of early span, you would see a 10% increase in the revenue. So that's where I could read that. So that's how I can say.
So on those glittering numbers, we will end this panel discussion. Thank you, panelists, and thank you, everyone.